All right, what up, guys? My name is Alex Bearfield here with y'all. We're gonna talk to him, a victim of the flood, and we're gonna find out his story behind it. Um, Brian Beeson is here with us. All right, so what did y'all go through?
Well, it started Wednesday morning at 3 o'clock. That's when it was around here in Baton Rouge. Um, just like any other normal thunderstorm, no big deal. There wasn't nothing, out of the ordinary. You can hear the thunder, see the lightning strike. I'm going to bed, and we noticed when I got up this morning, still raining. But that's still nothing out of the ordinary either. We've had storms like that before. No big deal. And you're not thinking that something's going to become of what happened when it did happen. So it's still going. I'm going to work. It's 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It's still rolling. But that's still nothing out of the ordinary either. I mean, we've seen rains like this plenty of times before around here in Baton Rouge area and then elsewhere. But I go home that night, still raining. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, still raining. And I mean, it's coming down, and it ain't stopping at all. And I go to work, still rolling. And I mean, this went on from 3 o'clock.
Hold on, y'all. Here's a phone call.
Huh?
All right, guys, we're back. I'm sorry, I had to take a phone call.
Yeah, and so it started 3 o'clock Wednesday morning to 3 o'clock Thursday morning to 3 o'clock just to get it on hour by hour Friday morning, and it's still rolling. And usually rain will be like that, but it'll come and go. This just kept swirling around and around and around. And by Saturday morning, that's when we started receiving the water. I get rained out Friday morning and Saturday. Most of my crew was already flooded in by that time. And I get rained out about 3 o'clock, so I go home. There's no water there at that time. You can still see some canals and rivers pretty flooded, but that was still nothing new. So we're not expecting what happened here. So finally, Saturday morning, I get rained out at 9 o'clock because, boss saying you can't ride the clock. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get up out of here at 9 o'clock. Now, good thing they let us go because had it not been for that, I would not have even been able to get into my house because the streets would have been flooded. Because by that time, about 11 o'clock, what used to be a road there turned into the Mississippi River. I mean, just that quick. From 9 o'clock to 11, you couldn't get back on the roads. It was just too deep. So it's steady coming up, and we're just watching it, and me and my mother-in-law were the only ones there. And, we're trying to get her to move, but still, she was saying, let's just see what it does. We're not going to move along yet. It might not get that high. Well, come 1:30, it's getting there. I'm looking down the road, and my block does a circle. It flooded in the back already by 9 o'clock that morning. People were slushing in the water. And it just made a loop around, and there's a canal right by my street. And then it started coming up from the canal, and it met right there at my house and my neighbor's house. And then it just came up from there. By this time, it's 3:30, it's 4 o'clock, and even 4:30. And we're needing to go. But too late now. The water was not only fast rising, which it was, but it was also furious. I guess you can call this the fast and furious water here. And it was so bad, current was so strong everywhere that even some of the Cajun Navy, and thank God for them, was trying to come around in their little Yamahas and stuff with the 70s on the back and 85s, and they couldn't get anywhere. You can hear them up the street trying to get up and down Greenwood Springs because that's where all our water came from. Because I'm from North Sherwood and the corner of Greenwood Springs. Okay, and you can hear them wow, trying to get it, and they just not really getting anywhere. So finally, they had to give up and dock the boats, tie them to something, and they couldn't get nowhere because the current was so strong. And as the water kept rising, even some of the people trying to park their car to safety to get it away from the water went and met where the cars were and pushed them down the road. And we're talking Dodge Chargers here. And because somebody thought someone was driving it, but no, current pushed it. Mm-hmm. And all of our water, I believe, came from a portion of the Coney River, and then there's another river really close by me, really close. And I believe that's what happened there. A lot of that water came from that river because instead of all the rivers flowing into the rivers that they're supposed to go to, the Coney and the Amite, they were flowing into the canals when it's supposed to be the other way. So that's why everybody by canals really ate a lot of water. Mm-hmm. So by this time, we're seeing helicopters flying around. I'm worried. I mean, we're going to get out of here, or we're just going to have to climb on top of furniture to get away from this stuff and have to be here all night. And they finally get airboats to come through. So now we got to make a snap decision here. And we finally did. And it took water getting all the way up to the doorstep to finally get her to realize, yeah, this ain't stopping. You know, so we wait for the airboat, and by this time, water's coming in. Right there by my window, I can make a footprint with the water in the carpet. Mm-hmm. It's coming in. It's entering the home. And by the time we got rescued, it was ankle deep in the house. Mm-hmm. And a 100% no flood zone. And,
yeah, that must have been terrible.
And then we have a neighbor, elderly lady. Mm-hmm. She's been there since all of this part of the subdivision began. This is 60 years ago, so she's been there 60 years and never seen anything close. I've even seen pictures after this. There's supposedly a flood in 1983. I was in Plaquemine, South Plaquemine at that time, around Imperville Parish and stuff. I never knew it got like that up here, but you could see up Greenwood Springs, and I know where the location was. It was a TG&Y right there at that time, and they showed little highlights of the flood back then. And she said even then it hadn't got nowhere near, I mean, not even close, nowhere near what we have experienced. And so as it's getting ankle deep, finally we hear some boats coming back over. So we get rescued. I thought we was going to a church or something like that, or shelter. But no, they were just trying to get people to higher ground. That's all they brought us to. It's higher ground. You still have people trapped in that Rite Aid right there, mm-hmm. On the corner of Greenwood Springs and North Sherwood, and they go in there trying to get them out. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people up and down Greenwood Springs, they're shopping, and all of a sudden they go out the door and their car's underwater. What kind of garbage is that, you know? Mm-hmm. Because that's something you don't see every day. And like I said, you know, this rain, the way it started, we've seen it all before, but not the way it developed. But we have seen rain come through like this, but never any flooding like this, mm-hmm. because it just sat over Baton Rouge and swirled and swirled and swirled. So you had your big bands going up north, just dumping torrential rain. I mean, this ain't no little drip drop afternoon rain. This is going on and on and on. And then, like I said, 3 o'clock Wednesday morning, and it just never stopped. Mm-hmm. And we still had saturated ground before then because it kept raining every evening. Every evening, 2 months prior to this, you know. So the ground was already saturated because the evening and afternoon storms wouldn't let up. And when this came around, it just put the icing on the cake. So we're rescued and we're brought to North Sherwood, where there's about not even a quarter of a mile of road that's just there, you know, it hadn't received any water. And we were there for 4 hours waiting on the National Guard, just sitting there. We probably got rescued about 5 o'clock and maybe even 7:30, almost 8. And we were there till 11:30, where, you know, we were brought to your house once. We were brought to St. Louis, King of France. And then we were brought over here to your house to go ahead and try to get our minds together, you know. And they even had to deploy people and move people from the St. Louis King of France church because the water got up in there too. Because I remember seeing 2 days later, water almost all the way up to Florida Boulevard from Sherwood. So it was crazy. It was an experience, and I'm 37 years old and never experienced anything like that. I mean, we've been through Andrew, we've been through Katrina and Rita, and even back then, I've even been through Allison. I don't know if you saw any highlights from Tropical Storm Allison. I think in 2003. No, not 2003. I think it was maybe 2001, actually, or even 2002, somewhere up in there. That had a lot of flooding, and I figured, you know, we would have saw some kind of flooding from that, but not even close to that. And they're talking about if there could ever be a low pressure system develop over land, this would have been it. It had all the characteristics of it. It developed over land, not over sea. It developed right over us, you know, drawing energy from a tropical system, a tropical wave, and a disturbance off the coast of Alabama and Florida, right up in there, and it just kind of drew energy off of that and developed. But it was a shock to see it, but it wasn't a shock that it happened. You know, there's a lot of ways to look at it, but me and my family, you know, due to our beliefs, and there may be about 20, maybe even 10% of the people listening may agree, and the rest of them be like, "Oh, come on, man, don't be so ridiculous." You know, the Bible says that this is going to happen. There's going to be devastation. There's going to be, now what? We don't know. And I wish I could say that this would be the last devastation that we have to endure, but I fear that I'm wrong. We could see something else. Now, it might not be flooding. It could be hail damage. It could be wind damage. It still could be even snow. I mean, look at Superstorm Sandy. Who ever heard? I've never heard in my entire life a hurricane producing snow. I've never heard of that in my life.
Not me either. Now, I do have one thing to say for the audience here. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and call 225-733-1929, 225-733-1919. Hold on, we're going to a short break. 3 minutes.
Yeah, he's on the way.
All right, y'all, we're back on. Remember, if y'all have any questions for Brian, y'all can call me at 225-733-1929. All right, so how were the damages on the house?
It was substantial as far as furniture and appliances, because we got 27 inches in a no flood zone. So naturally we didn't have flood insurance, and the flood insurance people said, no, we can't, there's no compensation for you. There's nothing we can do. But of course we was expecting that. But FEMA stepped in and they helped us out a little bit. But right now we're just trying to get things going. But I may be having to do repairs pretty much by myself, and not unless we can find a decent contractor for a decent price that we can trust. Because we got everything gutted out. I just got a portion of the floor to do because the people who had that before had sticky tile under the carpet. So we had to mess with that and get the sticky tile up, but we thought it was going to be concrete, so that put us behind.
Yeah, I even helped, and that was pretty hard to do. So
all we have is just a kitchen, and we're going from there. We all the furniture. There was just nothing there. All the water got to it, and I think it hung around for about at least just at 24 hours.
All right, hold on. We got a phone call. I'm sorry. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. He gets a lot of phone calls. But if you need to know somebody that does plumbing, or sorry, not plumbing, does electrician or anything, y'all can call me and let me know if y'all know anybody. And if y'all don't know anybody, y'all can call me at 225-733-1929. If y'all are in the Baton Rouge area, I have somebody for you that is in my family that will do it for a reasonable price. So what did FEMA tell y'all?
Yeah, they overlooked everything, and we wind up getting a check. And it's good enough to handle what we need to handle. As we know, we had no contents insurance either. So they did not give compensation for any contents as far as furniture and appliances, electronics and whatnot, and so on and so forth. So it's just going to be enough to get the house back in order as far as walls and flooring, and maybe some cabinets. Probably not like we had, but we still got to restock with dishes and things like that and appliances. So I'm hoping that my job is supposed to give us some extra compensation, and really have nothing to do with FEMA or anything. They're just going to give us a little check, but we're still waiting on that. It's still pending. So maybe that will help out, and it'll be enough that we can go ahead and start looking at appliances too. But other than that, we're getting it going, and now we're on the downside of repairs. So the house is gutted. It's been sprayed down. It's been wiped down 3 times. It's been sprayed down. So I'm pretty sure whatever's in there is dead as far as mold and all of that stuff. But that's pretty much the story behind that. And I had to put up with a lot of ants and stuff out there on the road as well, biting on your feet, because I didn't have any shoes on because I didn't want to be walking around that water with shoes. And then we saw a few moccasins crossing the street and all of that, because they don't even know what in the world's going on. Just once we've known as Baton Rouge turned into a Lake Pontchartrain.
And that's what was called the Great Flood of 2016. Wasn't very great though. I mean,
it's all great, like in massive, massive quantity. And other people that was in no flood zones, they got water all the way to the roof. Their entire house ate it. But we had to bring
Mhm.
down the entire walls because, my wife and her mom would have her staying with us. They get sick easy, and we just not taking any chances with any kind of mold or
Mhm.
any kind of bacteria or anything else that can go along with this dirty water. And of
Mhm.
course, some of the toilets backed up as well and came out
Mhm.
into the water and mixed up with it. So we just ripped it all out, got rid of it just to be sure,
Mhm.
and we're just gonna move forward. And a lot of people, you can hear a lot of talk go around about, if the reason why we're going through this is maybe because of the recent shootings
Mhm.
of law enforcement, recent shootings of innocent people, um, things like that, and that's why maybe God might have did this, out of His displeasure. But no, the Bible said this 3,500 years ago.
Mhm.
When it was put together, and it's not because of the things that mankind is doing. It's the Bible tells us that the judgment starts at the foot of the church, behind the pulpit, because the church has strayed. So that's why judgment is coming upon the earth.
Mhm.
So it's not the people, it's the church. The church needs to come back. But if, let's say, that does happen, will all this stop? Probably not. He says what he means what he says. Like I say, some of you may agree, some of you may not agree, and some of you may think I need to be in a straitjacket. But it has to be put out there.
Mhm.
People have to know and get curious, so that way when they're in these situations, they don't feel hopeless.
Mhm.
There is hope. Now, yeah, a lot of people lost homes and belongings that they've acquired over the years. I mean, I've lost just about everything except for a few clothing and some movies and rod reels. That's
Mhm.
pretty much all I got out of it, and the rest of it is just little whatnot decorations that we had running around.
Mhm.
You know, um, it was at least 11 years of collecting.
Mhm.
All my suits and clothes and slacks and ties, they're out of here.
Mhm. But thank God you saved those fishing poles.
Yeah, I elevated them. I just got through collecting those, and like if anything, I would want this because clothes. I've been through a loss of everything before due to a fire
Mhm.
and in a trailer. So I've been there. I have lost before, and I lost again. But look, it's time to move forward, and that's all we can do
Mhm.
is move forward. That's why you always hearing that being repeated by everybody. That's all you can do. It ain't
Mhm.
no use crying over spilled milk.
Unless somebody has a time machine, if y'all do, call me.
Yeah, we'll go back in time and try to warn everybody. But even if you did that, I mean, let's talk reality here. They'll probably look at you like you're crazy. You're gonna knock on people's door. I mean, how would that look? They knock on your door and say, "There's a bomb gonna fall here tomorrow. You need to go." You're like, "Come on, man, really?" And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Whoa, you was right." But we're gonna look at him like he's crazy. So yeah, the time machine thing might be good if we go back and warn people, but they're gonna look at you like you're nuts.
Mhm.
Because that's why it's called unprecedented event. People don't expect that. And like I said, this rain is nothing we haven't seen before.
Mhm.
We've seen it rain for 2 days straight. Even with Allison, that was probably the most rain I've ever seen in my time. That
Mhm.
was a lot of rain. I even had to work out in it. And of all things to do in pouring down rain, my company had us pumping water in an already flooded plant.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, where the heck are we going to pump all this water? All it's going to do is drain right back in where we're trying to put it.
Mhm.
You know, the whole plant was flooded. Why did he have us out there? Torrential downpours,
Mhm.
lightning flying everywhere, and we out there pumping freaking water.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. At about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. All right, guys, we're gonna pack it in. And it don't seem like we're doing any good. The whole crew is like, "Duh, are you kidding me right now?" So this is nothing that we haven't seen. We've seen this rain before, and probably will see it again.
Mm-hmm.
But this time we're gonna be a little bit on our toes, and we know the signs to look for now. See, like for me, you know, if I see water gushing down the road, I know, look, we got to get. And let's say it doesn't happen. Let's say, the water only gushes so far. But if I see that again, that's my warning sign.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that way we can get out and get to safety. Now we probably could have saved the cars. I lost my car, and the Kia Soul we had, the water got up over the motor, and I think it fried I know it fried the computer in it because they couldn't get it to turn on to see the mileage. So for the insurance company, so they had to ask us what the mileage was. They was able to get mine to turn on because I moved mine a little more up, so it was a little more elevated than where the Kia Soul was. We put that in front of the garage so no one would loot in the garage. But even though the water got that high, the pressure washer made it, even though it was totally submerged underwater. And it's an electrical pressure washer. It still made it. They cleaned it off and it sprays. I can't believe it did. Of course, I wasn't looking forward to buying another one of those because it took us long enough to get that. So now we're waiting on a FEMA trailer. We're just gonna have to. I'm gonna have to fill out some paperwork and drop it off, and we're just gonna keep going forward from there, and that should give us a little more comfort. But we're still waiting to hear from them when we can move in. We don't know when we can move in. It's gonna be in the Denham Springs area, but right now we're having somebody that my wife knows is having a truck come down with supplies and appliances and things like that. And she's trying to get with a church to be able to have a parking lot to distribute it to the community, whoever may need anything like that. But we just don't have much information on that just yet, as far as do we have permission to be on that property or not. Because we spoke with the pastor, but we'll give you more information when the pastor gives it to us, and we'll let you know when it comes in. And if y'all truly need things, it'll be there for the community. It should be a good 18-wheeler size truck coming in, and we'll go from there. And this should be more along the lines of appliances rather than just cleaning material. Everybody has cleaning material right now, so that's no front page news, and that's no necessity right now because everybody should be ready to start putting up drywall and floating drywall now. Because we were a week and a half behind because I had to work.
Hold on, y'all. Phone call, sorry. All right, y'all. He had to leave. So sorry about that. So pretty much the story about that. So he'll. I don't know if he'll be back in, but hopefully he will. But I don't know if he will. So pretty much got all of his story. But I just want to say, if y'all have not called FEMA and y'all do need FEMA, the FEMA phone number is toll free. It is 1-800-621-61 3362. 3362. Here's the number all. FEMA phone number. Toll free. 1-800-621-3362. 1-800-621-3362. And so pretty much y'all know the story, and it was a heartbreaking story about they lost everything, and it's a shame they didn't have any insurance. So we might have another. I think we do have another victim in the same family that will be willing to talk. So we might go live in a couple minutes on that one. I just want to say thank y'all for watching, and remember, hit the subscribe and hit the thumbs up. And y'all can still call me at 225-733-1929 if y'all have any questions, because he is living with me right now. If y'all have any questions, y'all can call and I can answer those for you. And I can also do another broadcast when he's available again. So thank y'all. And I think he's coming back in. So hold on. And we'll be there in a minute. Just remember, call FEMA. Phone number is 1-800-621-3362. Okay, it is 1-800-621-3362. And I just want to say that is toll free, so you don't have to worry about cost or anything. That phone number is toll free. So he's back. So um let's get back to what we were talking about. Wasn't that pretty much all? Or?
Yeah, that's as far as what we went through. But like I said, I wish I can say with confidence that the devastation is over. But I fear that I'm wrong. It's going to keep coming because that's just what it's meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just to draw people back to the understanding that we need to get the focus off of ourselves and get the focus off of our position and money in life and ambition and get it on Christ. Now, there may be a few that would agree and disagree, but hey, that's human. And that's what all this is about. And what's next, I have no idea, but I really don't want to find out what's next, what we have to go through. I mean, could be a tornado, could be hail, could be, I don't think another flood's going to come around.
But at least we hope not. I mean, that was.
Yeah, I don't think that, because we'll be prepared for that now. It has to be something unprecedented. So I think I can say safely that Baton Rouge won't see water like that again. Now, I can't say for portions of Baton Rouge, but we won't see a great flood again. Now, this portion of that portion may still go underwater due to torrential rains, reaching peaks that it did with this storm. But next, I don't even want to know what's next. I guess if weather really wanted to mess Louisiana over, give us about 8 inches of snow, we wouldn't even know what in the world to do with that.
Yeah. So we even had to evacuate after they got here. What happened was they slept for a while. That next morning, I was pretty much Alex was look out for water. We saw a little puddle. I thought it was coming down the street. False alarm. Okay, that was a false alarm. Then in the corner of my eye, I catch a stream coming down the road, and the sewer pipes backing up. And then we had a bunch of water, and we were afraid, so we had to get out before we were stuck. And I mean, it took us, 13, 14 hours to get home. We have a place in Cross Creek, Florida, and it took us about 13 hours to get there. Pretty much 15, I would say 15. Because it took us like 3 hours to get through. We had to go through New Orleans and stuff. It took us like 3 hours to do that.
All down south started getting all the excess water that came up. But really, the river that was most responsible, I think, for about 80% of this water, or maybe even more, would be the Amite River. Now, flood stage for the Amite River was 29 feet. It crested at 46 feet. And a lot of people would blame the government, but I mean that they probably had a portion of being at fault here, but 46 feet of water,
What do you do with that? I
you
mean,
know, places would have flooded anyhow.
mhm,
That's a lot of water. Places would have flooded anyway, probably not as many, but
mhm,
it would have been really close. We wouldn't have seen much of a difference. You know, even because I looked, and what got me the most was seeing an entire city
mhm,
underwater. An entire city, or at least the main portion of that city of Denham Springs,
mhm,
because the Amy River flows underneath the interstate there. And it got so high that it got on the interstate and started flowing down the interstate because it kind of ramps
mhm,
down a little bit and just flowing into the Range Road and
mhm,
just kept going and going and going and going and going. And another part of that, the reason it flooded because Amy also rolls through and it cuts alongside of all of that and it goes down and it also flows under Florida Boulevard just before Denham. So
mhm,
right there, it just came up so much that it just flowed into the streets. But right there, Denham Springs got it because it was coming off the interstate and it was also coming up from the back way of Denham as
mhm,
well by Florida Boulevard. And it just met up and teamed up and just started filling. And
mhm.
that's so you look at how much water it was there. I mean, Florida Boulevard flooded from Amy River all the way to Little John.
Mhm.
You know, if you're familiar with Florida Boulevard, it was all the way there, and that's a couple of miles.
Mhm. Yes.
You know, just to give you an idea, you know, I work at All Star Nissan on Florida, and it was past that and all the way up, and I think right there, Little John is the next light.
Mhm.
So that'll give you an idea of where it's at. So
Mhm.
all of that was underwater, but also there's a canal there as well. Now our
Mhm.
canal, right there by my house, it did not reach over the bridge. The reason it started flooding there was because there is a river. I can walk to it. It'll probably take me about 10 minutes to walk to the river that's up the way. Now, I don't think that was Coney River. I'm not sure what river that was, but
Mhm.
it is a pretty wide river, but it's really shallow when it's just at regular
Mhm.
stage. And I think that's where all water came from was there. And it was just nuts to see some of the pictures and videos of it.
Mhm.
And, you know, I think it'd be safe to say that we probably won't see this kind of water again because it would have to be something else
Mhm.
come around that we won't expect. Like, you know, sometimes I get weather alerts on my phone, you know, tornado warnings in the area,
Mhm.
and things like that. And, you know, I'll just blow it off because a tornado never landed. Never made landfall, never touched down, never did anything there. Now, some have swooped down on Florida Boulevard. I remember that last year and tore up a little apartment complex. And all it did was just swoop down.
Mhm.
It didn't stay like you see in the movies. And just a little F1, although they do use a different scale now. But if you were to call it something, I'm not sure how that scale works, but just an F1. So that's a little bitty one. You know, and it just swooped down for a couple of seconds and then died out. But just in that little bit of time, I remember going to work and it just flung and threw debris into the road, even in Florida Boulevard. They had to go out there and clean it up.
Mhm.
So could we see things like that? It could be possible. And not that I know the future. I mean, this is
Mhm.
quite obvious. I mean, let's say next month a tornado hits here. Oh man, this guy was talking about it just a while. It's obvious. It's not that I know the future. If you know the word of God, it's just there.
Mhm.
You know, this is obvious that something like this will happen. And of course, I named several different things that could happen. So it's not like I said, yes, a tornado's going to hit. So no, I don't know the future.
Mhm.
But we could see another event involving maybe weather. Or what about even an earthquake? We wouldn't know what to do with an earthquake around here.
I wouldn't know where to go in an earthquake. So I mean,
Yeah. So is the devastation over? Probably not. You know, I wish I could say, but probably not. We very well could see one of these things that I named: snow, um, maybe another Katrina after a while, maybe an earthquake, maybe even softball-sized hail falling for minutes instead of seconds. That can cause a lot of damage, a lot of roof damage, a lot of car damage. You know, busting windows out and stuff. And sometimes if people are not ready for that, it can even kill people.
Mhm.
I mean, you get hit by hit with ice that big, hey, you're gonna
Mhm.
die, or at least have a concussion and maybe die later.
Mhm. Or break your neck or something. All right, we're gonna have to start wrapping it up. Thank you, Brian, for sharing your story.
No
And
problem.
remember, if y'all need FEMA, the phone number is toll free 1-800 621 3362. And thank y'all for watching. Leave a comment and subscribe. And remember, thank y'all for watching. Peace. Oh, last thing I forgot to tell y'all. We might have another person that will be on our talk show today. And I do have another announcement. I will be going into a program where I only come home on the weekend. So I will have limited videos, and I'll probably put one video up a week because I need to spend time with my family. All right. So thank y'all for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.